Welcome, everybody. I'm Andy from WagerTalk.com. That is Steve, and we are getting ready to go over the Philadelphia 76ers and Atlanta Hawks series. Going to give you guys a little preview and what we expect with player props. And, Steve, there's basically one massive storyline, and that is Joel Embiid. So what do we know and what do we expect with him?
Well, we know that he has the torn meniscus in the knee, which doesn't sound like a minor injury to me. I mean, as far as looking at the series as a whole, I really liked the 76ers to go to the finals, maybe even win it. But with this injury and the way that Embiid has reacted to injuries in the past, I'm almost leaning the Hawks here. I mean, especially at the plus money. That's how I feel right now, at least.
Yeah, and with this injury, I mean, this is a 3-week injury. A lot of times it requires surgery.
Yeah.
And I think from Philadelphia, you'd almost rather have him sit rather than go out and be 60%, right?
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I would say if you're going to bet the series, you might get the best value going into it, because if he doesn't play game one, I think the Hawks take game one. I think it's that big of an injury for the 76ers.
Well, let's start going through some of these player props because Embiid affects everything. He affects the Hawks. He affects the 76ers. So let's start with his team, the 76ers. We've got Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. Those are the two big ones as far as I'm concerned with Joel Embiid out. We've seen Tobias Harris have huge games, and we've seen Ben Simmons have big games. And I like your point we were talking just before we recorded about we were taking Ben Simmons just on a couple categories, but you think if Embiid is out, we got to go for points, rebounds, and assists, right?
100%. Early on, we were going just rebounds and assists because he wasn't relied on very much for the scoring. But with Embiid being out or limited severely, Simmons is going to be relied on a lot more for scoring. They don't have a number out for it yet, but I would lean to the over for his points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, and let's. I want to pull up the screen here. I've got for everybody that can see here. We've got the game log for Simmons in the series, and you see here game 5, 39 minutes, 7 of 11, 19 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. I mean, triple double. I mean, that's 40 combined points, rebounds, and assists. That's a big number. And 7-11, obviously no 3-point shots, but 7-11, he's getting to the rim. And so I think you're dead on. And you look at some of these other stats, he had 13 points, but only 12 rebounds, 3 assists in game 4. So we see a huge increase in his stats as Embiid is out. So the next guy we got to talk about is Tobias Harris. And I was bummed because, in game 4, they had his points, rebounds, and assists at 30.5. That was an easy cash. Next game, Embiid is out, and they put 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and we're like, dang it, man, they put it high. Guess what? Wasn't high enough. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. We see his role increase big time. Can we expect more if Embiid is hobbled from Tobias Harris?
I would assume so. I would assume that he would be the leading point scorer for the 76ers, and you'd have to lean on him for points, rebounds, and assists as well. Him and Simmons would be the two top guys in the team, obviously.
Let's move to the Atlanta Hawks. You had a lot of success playing Trae Young over his points. He just tore the Knicks to shreds. You expect more of the same?
Yeah, I do. And as long as they're going to hang out that 25.5 over for his points, I love it, just because of the fact that he's going to land somewhere in the 20s, if not the 30s, just based on pure shooting volume alone. So that's a prop that I absolutely love in this first game.
Yeah, if we pull up Trae Young's game log, I mean, you see, like you said, the magic number was 25.5, and you look at it, 32, 30, 21, 27, 36. I mean, if you just played Trae Young points, you hit 4 out of 5. I mean, that's a big percentage. That's 80% winning. So that's a good one. And then you and I both are pretty fascinated by Clint Capela. This guy flies under the radar. I loved him in the regular season. It's got to be mentioned with most improved players this year. The addition to Atlanta was a huge help. And look at those rebound totals, 15, 15, 12, 12, 13. Knicks are no slouches inside. They can bang. And without Embiid, I think we got to look at rebounds with Clint Capela, right?
Yeah, for sure. Again, it goes back to Embiid being limited or out. Capela is just going to feast on the boards against guys like Dwight Howard and anyone else that they throw out there against him. Honestly, it's
unbelievable. Dwight Howard will not die. We cannot get Dwight Howard out of our lives. So, anything else with the 76ers and Atlanta Hawks that you got?
Just like I said, I really love the 76ers coming into this series, but the whole point of the video, I guess, is really surrounding Embiid, right? And without him, like I said, the Hawks at plus money seems pretty interesting. They're a young, tight-knit group. Like I mentioned to you, that Twitter video.
Yeah, explain that. That was great.
It was really interesting. Trae Young heading to the locker room at halftime against the Knicks, and Nerlens Noel gives him the old elbow, shoulder. I'm sorry, and right away Solomon Hill comes running over, and he gave him gave Noel even a harder shoulder. And you just see how these guys are a really tight knit group and willing to fight for each other and protect their superstar. Also, really deep with Herter, Gallinari, Lou Williams coming off the bench. So it's going to be a good series. Obviously, the 76ers have their depth as well, but it's going to be a little bit more limited without Embiid.
I agree. The value is in the Hawks at plus money. You're rolling the dice with the Embiid injury, but sometimes you have to do that with some of these bets at plus money. If Embiid is really hurt and we see it in game one and the Hawks steal it, that plus money is gone. You're looking at that's going to go from plus 160 to minus 160 real quick if we see that Embiid is actually hurt. It should be an incredible series. I wish we'd get a healthy Embiid, but this is the Joel Embiid experience, isn't it?
It really is. And like we said earlier, just the way I've seen him react to injuries in the past, minor injuries alone, I just don't see him having a big series now, or maybe I don't expect him to play in game one personally. And if they do play him, I don't expect him to be very effective based on his past injury history.
Yeah. So I think our best advice right now is to give the Atlanta Hawks a little bit sprinkle. And as soon as player props come out, they will be up on WagerTalk.com. We'll have props galore in this as soon as we find out what's going on with Joel Embiid. All of our plays can be found at WagerTalk.com. So, Steve, this is great. That's our preview for the 76ers Atlanta Hawks. Good luck. Let's cash the Atlanta Hawks at a small ticket at plus money, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have a great day, guys.